Hey, this is Trinicia, and today I just want to share with you how I save my scrapbook pages for the web. What do I do once I'm finished with the page? Um, I post quite a few of my layouts online since I'm a part of two store teams and one individual team. So I've been using this process that I'm about to show you for maybe the past 2 or 3 years. Since they have the new Smart Sharpen filter in Photoshop. Yeah. So whenever that came, that's pretty much when I started using that instead of doing the high pass filter or the unsharpened mask. I looked at all three and I tend to like this one a little bit better. But any photo can be over sharpened, so you do have to be careful with how much sharpening you apply. So I have my PSD file here, completed layout. And just to make sure I don't save over my original, what I'll do is I'll go to the history tab, and I'm not sure if you have this displayed. I like to keep my history displayed when I'm working on a page because maybe I'm going to be doing something that I want to make sure that I've done. I don't want to do it more than one time or too many times. So I'll keep my history open. And as you can see right now, it's just blank. It just says open because that's all I'm doing with the document is open it. So I just chose a random PSD file that I still had. So what I do is, if you don't have history showing, you go to Window and select History, and it'll have the little check mark if the panel is open. So you just go to that panel and you hit this handy little button, Create a New Document from Current State. So it's going to create a new document exactly like the one you have open. All of my layers are just still there. Okay, so what I'll do from there is I'll flatten the image. And since I save a copy for the web and I save a copy for printing, and I save those two different ways, I'll hit that same button again, just so I can have two copies to work with. So the web save goes like this. I right click and I duplicate the layer. Then I'll run the Smart Sharpen filter. So go to Filter, Sharpen, Smart Sharpen. And I have it set for the amount at 30% and the radius at 40 pixels. I have it to remove the lens blur. You could change this to remove the Gaussian blur, the motion blur, but I found lens blur gives you more of what I want as far as results. Shadows and highlights, I don't change anything. I didn't change anything with those. I didn't feel the need to. So they're just how they were by default. 0, 50, and 1. 0 fade amount, 50 tonal width, and 1 radius for both. So like I said, I didn't touch those. I just touched the amount and the radius. So from there I hit OK. And I didn't do any sharpening before. My photos, when I edit them for my layouts, I don't do any sharpening because I'm going to add them to my layout and I'm going to sharpen them at the end. So there's no need to have my photo sharpened twice. If you sharpen your photo twice, then, you get all the little crazy graininess and stuff like that bothers me. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in that aspect. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I learned better anyway because I did used to do it. So the filter's done, and let's turn that layer off and you can see the difference. Let's zoom in so you can see some of those details. When we turn the filter back on, so you can see the definition and some of the elements quite a bit there that changes and picks up some of that color a little bit more. Okay, so what I like to do, like I said, you don't want to overly sharpen because that looks all grainy, blurry, stuff like that. Like I said, it just bothers me. So I will set this layer opacity from anywhere to 20 to 60%. It really just depends. If it's a lighter colored page, and most times I do use lighter backgrounds, set the opacity up a little bit more. But certain things just don't need all that sharpening. But this one, I feel like this is too much right now. So let's try this at 30. And that's good. Another reason to watch out for your sharpening, and I'll tell you that in a minute. I won't throw it all at you at once. So hold that. So once I've got the filter layer, the Smart Sharpen layer, change the opacity 30%. Then I'm going to do add 2 new adjustment layers. So I'm going to go to layer menu. And I'm going to add a vibrance layer first. And then I'm going to add a levels layer. The vibrance, I will only change the vibrance number to anywhere, maybe anywhere from 5 to 10. And I usually do about 6 or 8, just depending. Like I said, it just depends on the colors. Since there's a picture of my baby on here, he's a little bit red. I don't want my vibrance up too much because it adds more red in the color, you know. So like I said, I'm thinking about all that. It'll also increase the red in this wood frame, you know. So I don't want to change that too much. So I think I'm going to use 6 for the vibrance. And the levels, I really don't add too much, just a bit, you know. I'm changing the levels just so I can get a little more, I guess, deeper color, I say richer color. So I might do that to darker. And I'll change this opacity to about 40% because that's going to give me what I need. So that's off and that's on. It's just a little bit, it's just really noticeable right in here. Like I said, it really depends on the colors that you're using. And the vibrance layer, I'll usually put it at about 60%. I never leave anything at 100%. It's very rare that I do. Okay, so I don't always flatten this when I'm getting ready to save for a JPEG. Most times I don't remember to. Like I said, I'm doing this for my teens. So, you know, most times I want to hurry up and get it saved so I can get it posted and share it. And so I just kind of skip that. But it's up to you. If you want to flatten it, that's fine. That will help the saving process. Maybe save a couple seconds there. So we'll flatten it. Sometimes I don't flatten it because I might want to change something. Because that's how I am. I change things as I go. So then I'll do save for web. And let me just say that when I found out posting on Facebook, if I just do save or save as with this file, it'll actually show less graininess on Facebook. Whereas if I do save for web, it seems like there's like an extra bit of sharpening going on. That's why I don't want to overly sharpen when I'm adding the filter, you know, because and then we forgot a step. I knew I forgot a step because I have an action for this, and I'll make sure to share it after I post this video on the blog. In my action, and normally what I would do before I applied that sharpen filter, I would have resized my image. You always want to resize your image to the biggest size you need it at. So since this is going to be my web copy, I would have reduced this to 800 by 800 pixels. And I do 800 because the size I use on my blog. What's the biggest size I'm going to need? So you want to go ahead and you can change that after the fact, but most times I do it all the time. I do it before, like I said, I have an action. So I'll make sure to share that with you. Okay, so from there, like I said, we do the save for web. And a couple things is, you notice these 4 tabs to the top. And this is why you need to watch out for your sharpening. You got original, optimized, and you got 2 up and 4. You know, they're going to show you, the difference between the 4. So if you see this one, like it's been sharpened a little bit too much, you can see that bit of graininess around the color. Like I said, this is kind of things that I look for because it bothers me. I can't help it. So normally I select the optimized tab, and for my blog, since I pay for the hosting and all, I usually set the quality to 100. Blur, none, of course. No matte color. I don't need a matte. If I wanted that, I would have done it before. Like I said, 800 by 800, and down here at the left corner, you can see how big. So like I said, this file's gonna be pretty big. The higher the quality number and the image size, the more space that file takes up. So that's something else to keep in mind. So, like I said, for my blog, I'll do 800 by 800, and then I'll save it. And this is just showing you how I save. Normally, I would do first 4 letters of my name and the date on my phone, which is 27th July 2014, and then I will add the size of the image there at the end, and then I'll click save, right? But I don't need to do that, so I cancel that. So when posting in the gallery at either Sweet Shop or the Lily Pad, well, most of the Lily Pad, you have a file size limit, and it's 250 kilobytes, right? Since I'm on the creative team at Sweet Shop, I'm not under that limit, thankfully, which is a great plus. so I don't have to worry about it so much. But I still do it, just to, save space sometimes. So what I'll do is change the image size to 600 by 600 because that's what I'll post is at in a normal gallery. I know a lot of people not really using galleries a lot anymore, and some people won't ever post online. So I know this will matter to you unless you do. So 600 by 600. The limit, I do optimize the file size using this little handy drop down in the top right corner. And I do 249 kilobytes. I can't remember who shared this on. Like I said, a lot of the things I learned from other people sharing. And someone said, I set that to 249 because that way you can make sure it's not above 250. Because I used to keep mine set at 250, and then I got ready to upload, and I would get this message saying your file exceeds file size. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And it probably was maybe 0.5 over or something, but it wasn't going to tell me that. Just told me it was too big, by some millimeter or something. Craziness. So 249, set it at that, hit OK. And you can see down here it's under that number, kept it under the file size. And what it did was it changed the quality. Like I had it set at 100, so now it's 88. And it still looks good at 88. I don't have any problem with it. Actually, what I like to do, sometimes I'll drop this number down 2 more, but I think it might be a problem, right? But we'll keep it the same, right? Whatever. So, hit save. And I'll pretty much do the same thing. Tron, the date, and the image size, which would be 600. Since it's a gallery size, I normally do 250, just so I can know it's that 250K size, because sometimes I'll use the 600 and keep it at about a 95 quality and post in galleries like scrapbook.com or on Pinterest, where I can get away with a few more kilobytes or a bigger image size. So that's pretty much how I save for the web. Now, saving for print is just a little bit different, as in I don't resize my image. I leave it at 3600 by 3600 because I usually print 12 by 12. And if you change the pixels to inches, you can see 3600 by 3600 is 12 by 12. So it's going to be print at this size. And what I'll do, I do the same thing. I duplicate a copy. Okay. And I'll still go back and use the Smart Sharpen filter. And like I said, I'll leave it the same. I don't like the fuss. Less fuss. So the only thing I'll do is I'll probably drop down the sharpening amount. Maybe about 20%. I don't go above 40 when I'm saving for print because I don't, like I said, I don't want the graininess. I don't want fuzziness in my colors, I want everything to look great and as best as possible when I'm sending it out to be printed, because I usually use persnickety prints. So I've never had any issue doing it this way. And what I'll do after that, I'll do a new adjustment layer. I'll add a vibrance layer. And I'll change, this number will be anywhere from 3 to 6 for the vibrance amount that I'll add to it. And I'm just going to use 3. And then I'll just do file save from there, save as, because I don't need to save for web. And I'll save it as a JPEG. Now you can choose to save your files in whichever format that you like, whether it's a PNG or TIFF file. I do know that PNG's the color profile shown online is just a little bit different. It may take away some of the red tones in the picture, just slightly. It's not a lot noticeable, but it's noticeable to me. Like I said, it's something that I've looked at, that I have experimented with, just because I like things a certain way, because I'm kind of picky. So that's how I would save it for print. And as you can see, these are my Project Life pages, and these are all the ones that are saved for print. So I've saved these the same way. Like I said, I had no issues, and everything comes out just how I like it. So thanks for watching. That's how I save my layouts for the web and for printing.